Let's go Mets. Let's go Mets. Let's go Mets. Yeah.
You gotta believe and invest with your heart. Orange and blue till Mets do us part. Spring training, oh yes, it's the start. City Field gritty till Mets do us part. Hit home runs and knock it out the park. Big Apple till Mets do us part. You gotta believe and invest with your heart. Listen to the show till Mets do us part. John from Brooklyn, KB reps NJ. With the other team, I don't care what your friends say. Mets fans, we focus like a sensei. Listen to the podcast Monday, Wednesday. Made a couple bad plays, but we still won. Character, yup, we're gonna build some. Are you gonna check the pod? Is real fun. Just like Mookie, I will sign. So invest with your heart. Orange and blue till Mets do us part. Spring training, oh yes, it's the start. City Field gritty till Mets do us part. Hit home runs and knock it out the park. Big Apple till Mets do us part. You gotta believe and invest with your heart. Listen to the show.
Available now on all streaming platforms. If you love the New York Mets, check out Til Mets Do Us Part. Enough rapping. Let's get to yapping.
What is up, everyone? Matt Ibanez here, a.k.a. Ibby. Til Mets Do Us Part, checking in with you live on a Thursday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard. Well, as we always say, thereabouts. It's about 5:40 right now here on the East Coast. Shout out to all of you that are joining me right now. And as you can see, I am flying solo this week. A lot of things went on the last 24 hours between myself and John. John had let me know that he didn't think he was going to be able to do the show at the midday point yesterday, and I thought I'd be going solo then. Then some things came up for me, and then I had to cancel the show last second. Moved it to today. I know John is in the midst of moving, so he is unable to do the show today, so I decided I'm going to fly solo and keep the show. You know, the show must go on in a sense. John gave his blessing. He said, go for it. Let's keep the momentum going with having shows. So I figured I can do this. I've done it before, flying solo, but I'm never alone because I am with you, the chat. Shout out to the 40 people that are here with us so far across all the platforms, X and YouTube. If you haven't already, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. It helps with the algorithm. It helps us grow. The one thing I will say is we are about 21 subs away from 1,300 in total. Once we hit that number, I do have a giveaway that I would like to start kickstarting, if you will. So once we hit 1,300, it's then going to start the conversation of the next giveaway that I have, which is an awesome piece of signed Met memorabilia of a former Met that I think a lot of people would appreciate and a lot of people would love to have as a part of their collection. But we must get to that point first before we can kickstart that entire idea. I have some things I want to do during a live show, another big wheel spin or a duck race or something along those lines where we can have some fun as a group, as we always do. So shout out to all of you. This isn't possible without you. As always, as you can see over here, the super chats are available. Now, remember, when it comes to solo shows, I do my best to keep up with the chat. I know you guys have your own side conversations. I'm going to try and, keep up with it the best that I can, along with staying on track with the topics that I do want to cover today. But remember, super chats are always be read, so they are appreciated. And if you send one, as always, I am thankful for it. Now, shout out to the chat who is here with us so far. We're looking at we got a lot of people talking so far. So we're looking at the chat. We have the likes of Darren Rivera, always here. Shout out to you, Darren. We got Daniel from Sports Highlights. Daniel Barry from Sports Highlights checking in with us. We got Clink in the building. We have Douglas Barnes in the building. We have Patty's checking in with us. I know she's watching on TV. So Patty, if you're kicked back now, enjoying yourself, thank you so much. Love you as always. Appreciate you supporting us as long as you have here at Til Mets. Always appreciated. Let's see. We got Brad in the building. Jeff Cohen's in the building. Armand, my brother. If you're with me the entire time today, I am going to be leaning on you at times. If I'm asking for something, I know you'll come through in the clutch when it comes to a stat, if need be, to finish or hammer home a point. So shout out to you. And thank you for being here, my brother. Carlos Ramos in the building. Rosie K in the building. Good to see you as always, Rosie. Odd Villain. Wu-Tang in the building. Love to see it. Shout out to the wait a second. Did I see someone say that the Pope was in the building? I thought someone said shout out the Pope. Unless I think shout out Queen's Baseball. The Pope I thought was going to be our new Pope, but that turned out to not be the case, unfortunately. But yes, I can see, as Jeff says right here, I am alone today. I'm going to do my best to navigate these waters the best that I can. John's a fantastic host and does a great job of navigating these waters. I just, I fill in as best as I can and do what I can. But I've done some solo shows before. If it's your first time with me solo, I will do my best to make you proud and make the hour that you spend with me, a little bit over an hour that you spend with me, all the worthwhile. Okay. Shout out to Carlos Ramos. Anybody else that I missed? Yes, Odd. My Wi-Fi better be on point today because I have no one else to lean on. So hopefully I can do my best and stay with you. And if I become a little bit choppy, as always, I apologize. So some of the things, looks like I'm all caught up. Armand saying he'll do his best. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you. I will say this. A lot has gone on for our Mets the past week. I put that in the description for the show this week. And I will say that it's been a lot of up and down, especially when you're watching. Shout out to Shay and Sons and Keefe and Key. And I know Keefe is always talking about how this team can be very boring at times. And he's not wrong. Some of the games that we watched over the last week, whether it was during the Cardinals series, that doubleheader was a rough watch, whether it was that second Diamondback game, a rough watch. Now, granted, I passed out during those 9:40 starts. I didn't get a chance to watch all of those games, but I watched them on playback. And I would agree that at times this team and this offense disappears. And we're going to talk about that today. And I'm sure that you guys are going to have your opinions as well when it comes to this offense. And we'll do our best to try and find a common ground with what needs to happen with this team in general. But place we got to start, and I am trying some new things here since I am solo to keep myself on track here. We got, obviously, Super Chats funding my Wi-Fi. I know there's a lot of Wi-Fi jokes right now. So remember, Super Chats do fund my Wi-Fi to stay stronger. Shout out to the hamsters that are on the wheel right now, keeping things moving for me. But injuries have been a big talking point over the last week. The fact that Danny Young, Tommy John, the fact that AJ Minter is having surgery out for the season, Jesse Winker, a big blow to the tandem DH duo that we had between Winker and Marte. We're looking at Winker being out probably 2 months' time after already losing Jose Siri as another outfielder for 2 months' time. So it's a rough spot right now when it comes to injuries, and it seems like they keep on piling. And a lot of people are worried about the bullpen, obviously, because you lose both lefties. What's going to happen? We kind of hit on it last week a little bit. Yeah, Stevie Mack jumping into the comments. Everyone knows who's been with the show for a long time. The Nate Lavender love that I have. I think he's kicking it right now in Tampa Bay. I don't know what he's been doing. I haven't been checking, but that is something that I will look up, or I'm sure Armand's already looking up right now, but having a Nate Lavender would be awesome. But I will say that, the bullpen is in a little bit of a shaky spot because I know people are worried about the amount of, the workload of the bullpen to this point has been trouble. And I wouldn't say troublesome, like they're doing their job, but you're seeing some ups and downs. At one point, the ERA jumped to like a 7 over a certain period span because they keep on being overused. Sometimes they get hit a little bit harder than normal, but people are worried because the starters aren't going that deep. Am I that worried just yet? No, I am curious to see how this bullpen, or this pitching lab, I should say, does adapt with how the bullpen is an ever-changing log of names that are going to be coming up and down. Are they still going to be able to perform and keep things moving as we work through said injuries? What's going to happen when it comes to replacing the likes of a Minter and a Young? We all had our feelings on Danny Young, but he was still doing a job. His strikeout rate against lefties was pretty high. Like, losing that hurts. And the options that we have right now from the left side, not so pretty. I know we have, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's Fernando de la Cruz who's been doing well. I think he just got moved to AAA. He's been pitching well down there, so that could be a name that we see at some point, maybe, that could fill in that spot. But in general, it's a little bit rough sledding at the moment. But I am curious to see how David Stearns, and I trust David Stearns to navigate said waters and do what's best and get what's best for this team to get to where they need to get to, which all of us feel is, towards the top end of the NL and making a deep play into October. Now, let's see. We got Carlos with a joke real quick saying Ibby's hamsters need to talk to Brady Anderson steroids guy. Look, Brady Anderson, fantastic year when he hit 50 homers, but the fact that his stats fell off of the absolute cliff after that is always hysterical to me when you look at his baseball reference page. But shout out to Odd Villain, Wu-Tang in the building with a $10 super chat, $9.99, saying, let's bribe David Stearns to put Marte on the Phantom IL for the rest of the season. Also, here's for the hamsters. Love you, Odd. Appreciate you, brother. And look, there's a lot that I want to talk about when it comes to the likes of Starling Marte and Jeff McNeil and things of that nature. But I am going to hold that off for the second half. But I did want to make sure that I read that comment because it was a funny one too. But thank you, Odd. I really appreciate that, brother, so much for the $9.99 super. Now, we'll get into the lineup more towards the second half. There are things that I do want to cover beforehand, but the lineup as constructed now, what I mean is the runners in scoring position. The runners in scoring position is a big talking point for a lot of people because this team, as we look at it now, is not performing the way we all thought it would be. It's really not. And I'm not here to, sugarcoat things. I know a lot of people feel that me and John sometimes are a little bit lax or ununderstanding, or not understanding, I should say, of situations because we're looking on the brighter side of things. But look, do I like the fact that this team has struggled mightily with the runners in scoring position? No, I don't like it. It's frustrating to watch. When I'm watching that Cardinals series and they left a small village on base for that doubleheader where they left like 20 guys on base, it's insanity. I know Wardy posted a stat the other day talking about the 13 Met losses and how each of those losses, the amount of men in each game that they left on base were literally, they should be even better than what they are. So it tells you that this offense should be in a much better spot than it should be. And yes, Jeff, I've been saying this with my friends who often come into this chat, when they can, whether it's James Rube or TJ Radijak, when they come in. We've been talking about this for years. Runners in scoring position has been a problem for a decade. I'd argue it's been longer than a decade, whether it's not being able to get a guy in with a fly ball, less than 2 outs, whether it's just not coming through in the clutch in certain situations. It is frustrating. It's beyond frustrating. And is there an end all be all? Like, is there a special elixir that this team could take to rid these problems? Now, look, if Carson decides from Mets Weekly, if Carson decides to jump into the comments, I know he's finishing up a show right now. If they decide to come over, I know what they want to talk about when I say, is there change? And yes, we can talk about the hitting coaches and all that nonsense if we wanted to, but you know me on this show, I don't like placing all the blame at the hitting coaches, but at the same time, I can argue about approach, and it's frustrating to see how this team is aggressive in spots where they probably shouldn't be aggressive, and they are more lax in the box when they should be more aggressive. It's like things are going backwards. And that in itself is beyond frustrating sometimes. So, what is there to do? And another part of this conversation also is the back and forth that people have talked about when it comes to the anger, whether it's Gary saying it on the broadcast, whether it's the stats that you see from people that track these things on Twitter, whether it's people like Mets Muse, shout out to them, whether it's Michael Mayer posting something or anyone else. And if you can hear me, oh, there we go. I am back, but hopefully you can hear me. But, it seems as though people do not like the discussion when it comes to exit velocities. Now, look, does it matter that a guy hits a ball 100 miles an hour as an exit velocity, but it's an out? I know a lot of people that don't give a damn about that. And they don't give a damn because they're like, I don't care how hard he hit it, it's an out. Now, look, you're not wrong. You're 100% right when it comes to that. But at the same time, I would say that I think context matters too. It's it's one thing to get frustrated about a guy not coming through when he needs to. But at the same time, can you really fault someone in a given spot when it comes to hitting a ball on the screws like you're supposed to? You did your job, but you just happen to hit it at someone. Is it frustrating as a fan? Sure. But are you going to fault the guy for what really happened there? Like I don't know, for me at least, and I'll check the comments and scroll through as this goes on. But if, I know that people don't like Juan Soto's average right now when it comes to, just as an example, Juan Soto's average when it comes to, runners in scoring position. Last time I checked, this was prior to the 2 home runs yesterday. This is probably like around $150 with runners in scoring position. Now, people are going to say he's getting all this money. He should be hitting with guys on. But if there's one thing I would have to check is what is he, how is he hitting the ball in those spots? Can I fault the guy if he rips it 110 and, a guy makes a diving play? Like, sometimes you just got to tip your cap. It's frustrating, yes. Now, mind you, I'm not trying to cover up for this entire team, because I do feel that approach is still an issue for this team, which is why I think there are shortcomings with the lineup. And there's also shortcomings in terms of the players that we're talking about that have already been alluded to in the chat, whether it's Jeff McNeil, whether it's Starling Marte, the fact that the bottom half of the lineup is still not producing the way that we know it should, the fact that we all love Luis Torrens. We do. But chat, you tell me, did you ever expect to see Luis Torrens batting 5th for your team? Look, I know he won yesterday, but did you ever expect Luis Torrens to be batting 5th? And listen, I love everything that he's been doing to this point, from an approach perspective at the plate, from his defense, throwing guys out. It's been fantastic. It really has. Him and Alvarez have been a fantastic tandem. But did I ever think I'd see him batting 5th? I think that speaks volumes for what you're seeing with this team. The fact that we still can't get Mark Vientos off the schneid and finding consistency. It's there. It's not. He has rough at bats. He's still swinging at sliders away. He's not adjusting. Questions. Brett Beatty is back. Bottom half of the lineup. Still rolling the ball over to second base. Not really finding a groove. Like, it's a spot that, while I understand why people are angry about the EV talk, I do think there is a little bit of wiggle room when it comes to that conversation. But at the same time, I do agree with a lot of people where it's like the approach is a little bit off. I don't like what I'm seeing from the bottom half of the lineup at all. So when we're talking about the likes of Marte, McNeil, Vientos, I would throw in Azucar too, but I think he's been doing pretty solid for the times that he's been in. But guys like that could be inning killers. Everyone else, I'm happy with what I've been seeing. Obviously the Lindors, the Petes, the Sotos. I like what I've been seeing from Torrens. Like I said, I like what I've been seeing also from Francisco Alvarez in certain spots. I love what I've been seeing from Luis Angel Acuna. I think he should be playing a lot more. And I think a lot of people in the chat, and I'm going to go over to you guys in a minute, I guarantee a lot of people in the chat believe that he should be in the everyday lineup playing second base. And I agree with you 1,000%. Whoever is on board with me when it comes to that as well. So all that being said, I'm going to go over to the chat right now. So I apologize for any dead air that you might see or dead air that you might endure at the moment. So I'm going to scroll a little bit here. I am going to bring up Rosie K's comment real quick, talking about how Marte can't ever bat cleanup again. I would agree with that. It's painful to see Starling Marte batting 4th. It's beyond frustrating to even look at. Okay. We do have another super chat. Shout out to you, Darren Rivera, for the $4.99 super. Soto not only hit 2 home runs, but also hit a sac fly, which was a productive out with men on base. And Brosban and Stanek were effective. Look, those guys have been awesome. Okay. And I have an entire thing for the second half that I want to talk about when it comes to Juan Soto. A lot of things I have to get off my chest. So I'll save that for the second half. But, productive outs, things that we want to see. So the talk on Juan Soto by a lot of people needs to calm down a little bit because the guy's been on fire, and we'll talk about that more, like I said, in the second half. But thank you, Darren. Shout out to you for the $4.99 super. It is much appreciated. Kristen G coming in saying trade Beatty. Look, you got to provide some kind of, positivity, if you will, some kind of production in order to get that stock back up so somebody would actually want to acquire a Brett Beatty. Believe me, I do think somebody wants him and somebody will take him, and he probably will be a part of a trade package at some point this season. Let's see. Nimmo left $1 million men on base in that doubleheader. Nimmo's been rough. It's been up and down with Nimmo. I know that over the last, maybe the last week, I know his weighted runs created plus has been very high. I want to say it's been like close to $150. I might be wrong on that, but I think that he's been doing better in spots. But I agree, you want some more consistency. Carlos, I see your question in the chat, and I'll make sure that I come back to it in a moment. So I will come back to you on that one. Stevie Mac, obviously leaving a comment here when it came to my Wi-Fi. No worries, I am back. Hopefully, sorry, I just got an update on something. Going through. Now let's see what Game for War comes in here saying. You said you're a hitter. So Ibby, what do you think about aiming down to create backspin to elevate the ball? It's a trend taught to Beatty and McNeil by hitting coaches, and now Soto is doing it, but it's a myth. So we're saying swinging. So you're saying, swinging down on the ball to chop down on the ball to create said backspin. Look, however these guys want to go about the game, they know a lot more than me. Look, I grew up in a time where the thought process on hitting is a lot different than it is now. So, myself as a coach, I have to go about looking at things in terms of new baseball and how guys are finding more success. A lot of people, you don't swing down on the ball. Like, you want to swing level to get underneath to create some lift. You want to lift the ball is what you want to do. You want to hit the ball on the line. You don't want to hit the ball on the ground. So, I honestly think, like, when it comes to a Beatty here, Game for War, I think when it comes to Beatty, I just feel that the velocity that he's facing at the major league level is such a step up from what he's seeing at the AAA level that he's not able to create the same success. And we're seeing that, which is why he rolls over as much as he does, because he can't get through the zone quick enough. Like, that's essentially what it is. And it's frustrating because, like, I know people in Carson also, like, we can have our thoughts and our opinions on a Brett Beatty. He doesn't have talent, this and that. He has talent. He does. It's not working. And I still think that it's not going to work here, unfortunately. And I think he will find success and be a ball player for someone. Is he going to be a star? No, I don't think he's going to be a star. But can he be a major league ball player for a good amount, for a decent career, I should say? I think he can be. I don't think it's going to happen here. I don't. I think the setting is too much for him. It's too overbearing. There's too many question marks, and I just think eventually he's going to really have a sigh of relief when he's no longer suiting up for the Mets. That's just the way I think. Okay. Thank you, Armand, for that stat. I do have that one queued up as well, so I will save that for the second half of the show because I did have that one ready to go. But thank you as always. Carlos coming in saying the only reason why this has been a problem is because Vientos is not hitting what we expected. I love Vientos, but it's a fact. Look, if Vientos was hitting, even with the ups and downs of Brandon Nimmo, now we want obviously a more consistent Nimmo, but if Vientos was hitting, man, this lineup would be humming. It really would. If Vientos was hitting, it would be humming. But this is a sophomore slump. This is what happens when there's more tape on you and guys attack you. And look, Keith talked about this on the broadcast the other day, saying how he's not getting the fastball. He's not getting the fastball. He's not getting the fastball. They're feeding him junk, 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 junk. The book is out. You need to learn said patience. Attack when you see a fastball. You got to learn how to lay off. Easier said than done. And it's a process that he's going through. And look, sometimes you see it in Mark's at bats. Sometimes you don't. And it's frustrating because he's not able to find said consistency. But I think that's also part of the sophomore slump. I think it's part of, a lot of expectation was put on him. I don't know if he's someone that looks at stats and projections and things of that nature, but when you have places like Fangraphs and DBacks and all these places that have projection systems that are telling you what you're going to do in a season, and he's projected to have 27 home runs, 30 home runs, have the most home runs amongst third basemen, maybe it goes to your head a little bit. Maybe you get a little bit too comfortable, and then you get mired in this slump and you can't shake it. It happens. It's part of baseball. I think we really need him to shake it because it doesn't help. And this is the big thing with Vientos. And I think everyone here would agree with me. The big thing about Vientos last year was, while we all knew he had his deficiencies at third base, and he still does, and we've seen it come out to play a lot more lately. He has those deficiencies, but when they were happening last year, there wasn't really a loud microphone next to it, because the loud microphone was next to his bat, because he was hitting 20 plus home runs, and he was hitting home runs in the clutch, and he was doing all this stuff that it kind of allowed you to say, if this guy's going to hit, I'll deal with the defense. But if we're going to have a guy who's hitting the way he's hitting, and he's not going to play good defense either, well, now you start asking questions like, what are we doing here? I think that's another big part of why Beatty's up, on top of the injuries, obviously. But I think you're going to see Brett at third base more times than you realize. I really do. And, matchups are going to matter. But I think from a defensive standpoint, I think that the team is going to feel a lot more comfortable if they realize that the offense, especially the bottom half, isn't going to perform for them. Until that gets going, you're going to see a much stronger defensive team, especially on the infield. I would say you're going to see the likes of Beatty at third, Lindor at short, Acuna at second, Pete at first. Okay, and then obviously Terens and Alvarez split behind the dish. I think you're going to see that a lot more until Mark can find a groove. So whether he's getting a day off, which he did, I think he got a day off yesterday. I wouldn't be shocked if you see him getting more DH time either. I really wouldn't, because like everyone else, I can't do Marte anymore, man. I can't do it. I can't do Starling Marte DHs. I can't do Starling Marte in right field. I can't do it. Guy's had a good career. He's provided a lot. 2022 will always have that, but it's rough, man, with Marte, and it really is. Shout out to the 150 plus that are with me right now. If you haven't already, make sure you like the channel. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Like the video. It helps with the algorithm. Let me check out the numbers real quick because I am curious. We have about 23 on here on the YouTube side with 22 likes. So thank you for that. We're just about even there, which is awesome. So we are getting a big audience over on X. If you're watching us on X, I appreciate you. Make sure you follow Til Mets Do Us Part on X. Make sure you're following me at @poison_Ibby. Make sure you are following my partner who is not here, my fellow co-host, John Saponaro at John Saponaro. Now, as we continue to roll down some of these comments, I want to make sure I get as much as I can. I am starring off your stuff, Armand. I am going to use that for the second half. Looks like we got Skipperoo. Skipperoo, if this is your first time here, welcome, my brother. Skipperoo saying, I think Vientos hits better when he is mad. Sit him down for 4 days. I bet he comes back on fire. Now, that's using the thought process of last year where he was constantly being, sent up, sent down, comes up, hits a homer, gets sent down, does well, comes back. Look, I'm not saying you're wrong there. Maybe he needs a little bit more of a fire and a kick in the ass to realize the opportunity that he has. Maybe it is. Yeah, everyone's different, but like getting Mark going, I'm telling you, if you can get Vientos going, it's going to transform the lineup a lot more. We got to get him, got to get that confidence back, got to get that swag back. Like we need Vientos humming. And I think, just trying to alleviate that weight off of his shoulders when it comes to the breaking pitch, because he's going to keep on getting it. Just keep studying the tape, keep getting after it, and just try your best to spit on it. Like you really do. And I think someone in the chat said it last week. or maybe I heard it on the broadcast. Either way, I think that is a compliment, because I'm either comparing you guys or giving you guys credit, or I'm comparing you or thinking that you are on the same lines as Gary, Keith, and Ron. But I do remember a comment that was said on how Vientos and his approach in certain at-bats and how he's looking is very much mirroring that of Pete Alonso last year. And we see how locked in Pete is right now. He's on another level. He sees that ball. It's like a beach ball at this point. Like everything, he sees it all the way through, and he's doing damage, big time damage. Whereas Mark, on the other hand, not so much. He's getting a few fastballs here and there, and he's putting the ball in play. I think he ripped a single the other day when he got fed a fastball. But other than that, he's been getting a lot of junk, and he's not spitting on it. He's got to, okay? And eventually I think it will come. I do trust that Mark is a strong study. We saw that last year, and I think he's just going through it right now. And I think he'll get better as the season progresses. Want to keep on getting through everyone's comments here, and I'm playing a lot of catch up, so I'm doing my best. Shout out to Lisa G, the Met fan in the building. Good to see you, Lisa. Always appreciate you. Always. Now, let's see. I'm trying to see if I'm missing anything. Anything that is of Carlos coming in saying, if Vientos was hitting, we could also bat him second, Soto third, Pete fourth. Hebrew Hammer, maybe he'll show up at some point, but he's been peppering me in the comments on our shorts here on YouTube, to make sure that he makes sure that his idea of Vientos batting second is continued to be put out into the atmosphere, because he wants it to happen. Look, at some point it could, but right now, until he figures it out, can't do it. Can't give him more at bats, because right now it wouldn't make sense. We still have to stay. You still have to stick with those top three, because they are producing at a fantastic level. Checking through. Rosie K saying that Vientos' power has disappeared and Beatty isn't the answer. Look, I think Vientos' power disappears because of the fact that, he's not getting anything to square up. Guy feasts on fastballs. If you're not getting the fastball, you got to adjust to the breaker. And if you're not adjusting, then the power is going to be non-existent, because you're not putting them in a spot where they have to come to you. So if I don't have to go at you, there's no reason to. You're noticing it now, even more so, as people are realizing just how hot Alonso is and how they're feeding into, Soto a little bit more now. I think that's why over the last week, Soto's numbers are what they are, because he's getting a lot more pitches to hit, because they're saying, look, I got to try to get someone out here, and I can't keep putting guys on. If Lindor's getting on, and if I walk Soto, well, now I'm just asking for it, because this guy Alonso is at a point where he's ripping everything. So I'm putting myself in a spot where it could be, 1-0, 2-0, or even 3-0. So you have to do damage when the ball's in the zone. You have to force them to come into the zone. And there's no power for Vientos, because nobody's coming in the zone for him, because they're saying, I don't have to. Until you prove that you can shake this and not swing, I'm going to keep on I'm going to keep on doing it to you. I wouldn't be shocked if you saw more at bats for him, where that you see a pitcher throw him, 3, 4, 5 breakers in a row just to see if they can get ahead of him on the count. It's the way it's been going right now. Armand asking a good question about Marte. I'm going to save that one for later. It's a great use of word. I did like that one. Stanley asking a question, any word on Minaya and Montas? Last time I checked, Stanley, the only thing that I heard was that, honestly, it seemed as though Montas was starting to creep ahead of Minaya in terms of timeline. Armand, if you can double check for me on that, that'd be great. I'd really appreciate it. I'm not sure of said timeline at the moment. I feel as though we might see them come back near the same time, which is wild, because we all thought Montas would be out a lot longer than what Minaya would be. But obviously that setback for Minaya isn't doing him any justice. Still scrolling through the chat, trying to catch up. Christine asking a good question. How can Mark feel comfortable if Beatty keeps bringing being brought back to see over his shoulder. Look, I would say at this point, Mark's a big boy. Like, he's a man. Like, you should be able to understand. Like, you went through it last year. You saw these things. Guys perform. And look, the shoe was on the other foot last year. You had Beatty given the job because he had a great spring, and then he was unable to perform. And then Vientos comes in, takes the job. Same thing's happening here. If Vientos can't do the job, well, somebody might roll in and take it from him. And I wouldn't be shocked if you're going to see some times, because they feel like they have to keep on playing Jeff, if you have, McNeil at second and they even have Acuna at third base. That wouldn't shock me either, to keep Acuna's speed at the bottom of the lineup to try and turn over the lineup a little bit faster, and also keep a much more solid glove on the infield. Scrolling through. Appreciate everyone. Once again, 180 of you have joined me so far. Shout out to all of you. If you haven't already, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. We are trying to hit 1,300 follows. Once that happens, I am going to do a giveaway. Not at 1,300, but it's going to kickstart a campaign for a giveaway that I think is a very, very, very cool item for anyone's collection. Former Met, and the only clue that I will give you on this is that I think it would make sense. I think it would make sense for someone's collection, especially if this giveaway happens in the upcoming months. I'll leave it at that. But if you haven't already, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. Like I said, 1,300 subs is the goal, because we are trying to hit the new mile marker, as always, here at Til Mets, and want to kickstart the new campaign for a giveaway, because I love giving away stuff to you guys. It's a lot of fun. You deserve it, because without you, this show is not what it is. I do want to check in. Did we get any new numbers? Looks like nothing yet. It's okay. It's all good. I appreciate you. We'll get there eventually. But also, super chats are live. I appreciate the ones that have been in so far. Shout out to Dan Rivera. Shout out to Odd. Wu-Tang in the building, as always. Appreciate you guys for those supers. And if any other ones do come in, you will be heard for sure, because those comments are always, always, always read off. Heading back over to the chat. Looks like I'm finally caught up. All right, this is good stuff. All right, guys, look, there's a lot more to cover. I do want to talk about Juan Soto. I do want to talk about Starling Marte, Jeff McNeil, and potential changes for this team. Looking out into what could be in the coming months. And can this team sustain when it comes to all things that are happening with our New York Mets? Look, we're at the 38-minute mark. We're going to take a quick break. It's 30 seconds. Don't leave. 30-second ad break just for the audio side of the show. This is Til Mets Do Us Part. Back in 30. Ibby here. I got you for at least another 30 minutes, okay? I'll see you. And just like that, we are back right here on Til Mets Do Us Part. Shout out to everyone that has joined me so far. Matt Ibanez here, a.k.a. Ibby. Like I said, Til Mets Do Us Part, checking in with you live on a Thursday. We are usually a Wednesday show, but Thursday for this week, because of things that were beyond our control yesterday, got a little bit hectic for both sides. So we bagged the show at our normal time, and we decided to push it today, and I was going to fly solo, and hopefully I didn't ruin plans for a lot of people who often join us. Shout out to everyone that is with us right now. Can't say enough how much I appreciate you. So, all that being said, we got to continue the conversation when it comes to our New York Mets. But before we do that, I got to do an ad read here. And I know that Carlos in the chat is going to be able to respect this one. It's an ad read for Independent Safes, independentsafes.com. Independent Safes is protecting homes and businesses with secure residential and commercial safes. Fireproof peace of mind in every corner. Visit independentsafes.com today for security that stands strong. Now, I would probably put the likes of a Jeff McNeil and a Starling Marte into the independent safe because I think it makes the most sense because I feel as though other players deserve said playing time. And I think I'm a little bit tired of what we talked about before, the Marte experiment at cleanup or Jeff McNeil playing, second base, or God forbid, Jeff McNeil playing center field. Like, I can't anymore, man. But I'm going to save some of that conversation for the tail end of the show when I get into that after we talk some Juan Soto. But I would say Marte, McNeil into the safe, lock it up, throwing away the key so we can move forward with some fresh blood, some fresh ideas when it comes to this Mets lineup. If you're ordered from Independent Safes, tell them Til Mets sent you. They'll take care of you. $99 free shipping. You're spending that regardless, but let them know that you heard from them through Til Mets. They love when it happens. They've let me know before that some people have, on the audio side, they listened to us and they gave them a call. They're getting hooked up and things like that. We appreciate it. We love that we're helping other people. So shout out to them, independentsafes.com. Check them out if you need anything when it comes to safes. All that being said, shout out to the 185 people that are with me right now. Whether you are with us live or you're listening on playback, or you're listening to us on any of the platforms that you listen to when it comes to the audio side, whether that be Apple, Spotify, Google, anything else. Is Google still one, or is that one gone? I know one of them went away. But any single platform that you listen to us on the audio side, we are there rocking with you. So we appreciate you. Thank you so much. Now, coming back to the comments really quick before I jump into the Juan Soto discussion. Is odd saying that I took Adderall today? No, you know what? I didn't take Adderall. And I probably shouldn't say this because, I don't get paid by these people, but I did, I won't say the name. I did try this new gum. Maybe you guys have heard of this gum, but it helps you when it comes to like extreme focus and stuff like that. And I've been trying it lately, and it actually is really good in terms of keeping, it gives you like a little bit of a boost of energy, and it keeps you like hyper focused in certain spots, and it's been fantastic. So I won't say the name because I don't get paid by them. But if you are curious about it, I will tell you off air. But it is fantastic stuff. So shout out to them for the product that they produce, and maybe one day they'll actually pay me for an ad read. That'd be pretty cool. All that being said, what? Odd. My brother. I did not do coke. That did not happen. It's hilarious to read that, but you're probably just saying that because when I am solo, I do tend to talk a little bit faster. But this gum definitely, heightens me up a little bit when it comes to being on point. No, it is not fentanyl gum. Get out of here, Game for War. Nonsense. But I do love the banter, and I love the hilarious nature that's going on in the chat right now. And I appreciate you guys because it lightens the mood for me. So thank you for that. And I will try to slow things down because clearly I might be talking a little bit too fast. So yes, Stevie Mac. I am a teacher living in New Jersey. I don't have that kind of money. My internet is the proof for that, which is 100% on point. I can't afford stuff like that. You're crazy, man. I think I'm wasting my money on that. I can barely, buy water. We're talking about nonsense. Speaking of water, I'm going to have a quick sip. Now, Juan Soto. Man, do I have a lot to get off my chest when it comes to Juan Soto. I want to bring up some stats real quick. And the first thing that I want to bring up is the stats that Armand brought up before that I had found as well via Mets Muse. And that being, Juan Soto in his last 7 games has a 346 average, 4 homers, 5 RBIs, 6 walks, 8 runs. The fact that people want to complain about this man. Here we go. $765 million walks. The fact that people want to complain about this man in a way that it's impossible to be satisfied based off the things that I see. If he's not hitting a home run, he's a bust. If he's not getting a hit in a given spot, he's a bust. If he's not smiling nonstop, he's unhappy. If he looks a certain way, we're saying he might be something. Like all this nonsense. When in reality, this guy has been extremely solid to this point. Do you want more? Sure you do. Do I want more? Yes, I want more. And I think that this last week has shown you that you have a special player. To this point in the season, from what you've seen so far, if a 130 weighted runs created plus is going to be the downside of a Juan Soto, you're going to be okay. You really are. And I think that, I know people don't, or some people think that, certain fans are overprotective of the player. And it's like, oh, you're not allowed to criticize said player. No. That's not the case here. You can criticize in spots. That's fine. But I still, outside of the average that I'm sure has gone up now since said home runs and this last week with runners in scoring position for this player, I just think that he's hit into a lot of bad luck. I see a guy who's ripping the ball, and it just happens to find the glove. Those things are the way baseball goes, those eventually are going to fall as hits. It's just the way of the game. But we get so wrapped up in everything that we forget what the game actually is. And this is the problem with Mets fans too. We bitch to bitch. We complain. We don't understand what it means to be happy because we think we've never been happy. So we just assume that the other shoe is always going to drop and we can't have nice things. And he's not happy here and he's not doing the things that he was last year and blah, 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 blah. It's nonsense. I could rattle off those numbers again, but I think the end all be all with this conversation is Juan Soto's damn good. Juan Soto is special. And the fact that he's a part of your team, you should be happy because, like I said before, without him, you're not getting the production you're getting to this point, this early in the season from Francisco Lindor, and you're definitely not getting what you're getting from Pete Alonso in what is most likely, a walk season, I should say, for Alonso as he's trying to get paid once again. But it's just so dumb to attack the player because, as John has said before, we've seen this multiple times prior with, top flight players that have joined this organization. And we've seen it when it comes to Francisco Lindor 4 years ago. We've seen it with Carlos Beltran. It's this divide that is created that doesn't need to be created. It doesn't. Like these expectations that are set forth. And I'm not saying a player shouldn't have expectations. I get it. I know people are staring at the contract. I get it. But just remember who the player is and don't take something, in a vacuum over, a handful of set at bats. Like it's not the end of the world. It's not. It's wild because I think it's wild because of the amount of time that he signed for to be here, and people want to do this so early. It's like, you better buckle up then because you're going to do a lot of complaining moving forward. I think it's a waste of time. I think it's a waste of energy. I think it's something that dumb people do because they want attention and it's sad, and just kick back and enjoy the ride, man. Like this guy, he's heating up. Get ready. It's getting warmer. It's getting hotter too. Like, get ready. Like, this guy is going to be a special ball player. So again, it doesn't make sense to me. I don't care about the body language stuff. He's fine. He's smiling. He He's doing the same things that he's done with every other team, you know, but you don't notice it because you weren't paying attention then because it wasn't your team. And I don't expect you to know those things like what he did with the Padres or even what he did with the Nats or the Yankees because that's not your team. You're not watching. But now you're hyper focused on everything. But he's doing a lot of the same traits that he did with those teams. But because he's a Met, now he hates everyone. It's an easy narrative to fall into. It's a dumb one and one you should ignore. Enjoy the game. Enjoy the player. Special player. He'll be fine. Like I said, those numbers, they're going to keep climbing. He's going to fall around where he always falls when it comes to his overall numbers. And those are numbers that we as Mets fans do not get the pleasure of seeing all that often. They're really not. So, again, relax. 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 I know you're trolling, Odd. I know you are. It's all good, brother. Just having some fun. Checking out some of the comments I want to catch up on. Odd saying what I was just saying before. Did we learn nothing with Beltran and Lindor? Two of my all-time favorite Mets. I love Carlos, but everyone who watches the show knows. I mean, I don't have it on screen, but I got a big autographed poster of Carlos Beltran. Rael, listener of the show, actually sent me a signed Carlos Beltran baseball, which I'm very thankful for. I have it in a case over there. Love Carlos Beltran. Hated the way he was treated. Hated the way he's still treated by fans to this day. Can't stand it. Hate it. Deserves so much more. Again, I would also retire 15, but that's me. I'm not like everyone else. And he will be a Hall of Famer. As a Met, too. But regardless, did we not learn? Odd, you know we didn't learn. Because these people, they don't want to be happy. They don't want to be a consistent winner. They want to wallow in self-pity. And they don't want expectations. They just want to say how bad they are. How woe is me. I'm done with that nonsense. I don't need that shit. Nobody does. Listen here. Listen to Mets Weekly, Queens Baseball on X, Shea and Sons, Subway to Shea. All of it. Listen to the good people. CP. Stick with the right people. Wardy, you'll be fine. The ones that have a brain. Shout out to the 200 plus that have joined me so far. All the love to each and every one of you. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let me double check on those likes. We're even. 24 people here on the YouTube side, 24 likes. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Shout out to the ones that have sent super so far, that being Odd Villain as well as Darren Rivera. Thank you so much for the $9.99 and the $4.99. It does not go unnoticed. Checking in on the chat once again. Odd speaking truths here. Nobody trolls Mets fans like Mets fans. It's true. Pick out, the overall self-esteem and self-concept of a Mets fan is just pitiful, if we're being honest. Like, I'll say this. The attitude of the Met fan, you can be upset about the ups and downs. You can be upset about the offense. This has nothing to do with it. This is more of an overarching feeling when it comes to nonsense like this. And shout out to Keith over at Shea and Sons, who put out a great video the other day about, don't be afraid to tell a fellow Mets fan to, shut the F up. And he's right when it comes to certain things, when it comes to certain things, especially Juan Soto and anything else. But you can be upset when it comes to the ups and downs and how the offense, I'm not saying you can't be upset. You can be. Be my guest. But stop beating yourself up and stop being afraid to be a winner. You say you want these things. Every one of your attitudes should have changed the moment Steve Cohen bought the team. Mine did. Mine 1,000% did. If you want to see the old me, like I said before on the show, scroll through my Twitter. Pre-2020. Scroll through. See how angry I was. See how much I couldn't stand the Wilpons. Or Sandy Alderson. Mickey Callaway. Luis Rojas. All the nonsense. See how much I couldn't stand it. Steve Cohen changed everything. And my attitude should change yours as well. But again, people want to wallow. Check it back in on the chat. See what we got here. I want to see what we got. I did see that. I want to see where we are. I don't want to miss anybody. Darren Soto has hit the ball hard and into bad luck. Foul ball, home run, getting robbed on the 3-run homer. Yeah, the numbers could be so much better. And to John's point last week, if half of the hard hit balls that he had fell, we're talking about a completely different stat line. And no one's talking about this nonsense. Nobody. Let's see, where are we? Here we go. Carlos saying that, yes, but I'm still firm on my stance that they need to bring back the Soto Shuffle. I want to see the Soto Shuffle at Yankee Stadium, and we're getting Soto hitting on all cylinders. Look, it's a great point that's brought up. I still think that Juan Soto is searching for this. I think Juan Soto is a perfectionist. I really do. And I love listening to him talk about hitting and his approach and everything. I think the man is a perfectionist. And I feel as though it's not there yet. It's not where he wants it to be. I do think he made alterations to his approach and swing with Yankee Stadium last year. I do think that is the case. I think he's readjusting and changing some things in that sense now. So I don't think his I don't want to say he doesn't have confidence. He has confidence, but I don't think the cockiness is there yet. I think, like anyone in any job, I feel that it takes a minute to get truly, truly comfortable. I think of myself in spots like this. Now, I'm different. I'm more of an introverted type of person. It takes me time to get used to things. And then when I'm used to it, like, I can then be myself. I feel comfortable enough to be myself. It took time. Could be the same thing here. Takes a minute. Get comfortable. A way of life. Finally settling in. The guy hasn't been able to settle in the last 4 years of his career. Been going around from team to team. Settling in. Finding everything. I think as the hits start to fall more and the home runs start to pile up, like, that's when you're going to start seeing everything that you want to see, such as the shuffle. And I agree with you. I want to see the shuffle at Yankee Stadium. I want to see it in the Bronx. I do. I want to see him shuffle in the Bronx against whoever the hell they're throwing. Max Fried, whatever lines up. Let him shuffle on Fried. Watch a ball come in, then watch him hit one into the upper tank in the bleachers to shut up idiots like Keith McPherson, that loser. Sorry, I don't like saying names, but I also don't like rage baiters like he is. It's just dumb. But that's regardless. But yes, I do think we will see the shuffle back, Carlos. And I think it's just about feel for Soto. And I think his perfectionism is getting to the point where he's like, I'm very close. And then once I know I'm where I want to be, now I will be cocky because I know that I'm on point and you are not better than me. I think I think it's close. I do. I think it's close. Armand coming in with stat here. Juan Soto has played in 974 regular season games and has 208 home runs and 798 walks. Here are the players that have recorded 200 plus homers and 750 walks within their first 974 career games. Babe Ruth, Ted Williams, Frank Thomas. It's good company. It's company I would like to be in. Anyone would like to be in. Crazy. Catching up on the chat, seeing what else I missed over here. If I miss you, I'm sorry. But like I said, it's always tough to navigate while I'm trying to have conversations as well. Here's one that Game brings up that I know a lot of people were bringing up. He doesn't like that, Soto's not there after Pete scores, leaving people hanging, not giving him high five. He's just too good for that. No, I think, again, shout out to Keith over at Shea and Sons, posted a video on this already. So I'm going to filter people towards his channel, Shea and Sons, as well as his Twitter, Kicking It with Keith, at Kicking It with Keith. Like Soto's doing the same stuff that he always did with all teams, but you just didn't notice it because you weren't looking. Nobody looks at it. They only look at it when they're on the Mets. They're hyper-focused in those spots with the Mets because it's easy. It's easy, rage bait, clickbait, whatever. But Soto hit the home run yesterday. He basically jumped into Pete's arms. Like, I'm not worried about this stuff. I'm really not. And like I said, it's the comfortable factor of, finding your place, because even though you're paid the money that you're paid, remember, he's still coming into a team that he's assimilating to, and he's doing a good job, I think, to this point. And remember, he knows that it's Francisco Lindor's team. He knows that Brandon Nimmo's been there longer. He knows that Pete Alonso has been there for as long as he has and has produced the way that he has. So it's like, you don't want to step on toes either. But I think that it's nothing to worry about. And I think people are just trying to find something to be there when there's nothing there. I think it's reaching for a story because nobody likes that the Mets are just a good baseball team. It takes away from the narrative. They don't want two good teams in New York. They want one good and one bad. Been saying that since episode 1. It's episode 194. And I'll keep saying it because it's the truth. Rolling through the chat. Shout out to the 205 of you that are with me right now. If you haven't already, make sure you like the channel, subscribe, or like the video, subscribe to the channel. Would appreciate it. And if you're listening to us on audio, make sure you leave a review. Reviews go a long way for us. Okay, we've kind of been stifled when it comes to that. Whether you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple, leave a review. 5 stars is nice. I would appreciate 5 stars. And leave a review. We love listening to what people have to say about the show. So shout out to all of you that have done so far. Black Banner 416 saying, preach, Ibby. If we win it all this year, they're not invited to the parade. I agree with that. I shout out to that. GSD coming into the chat. We got GSD. This description of Met fan negativity is the social media people, not the people at Citi Field. You know what, GSD? That's a fantastic point because, again, I was thinking about something along those lines when I was driving home today, like prepping for the show, thinking about things I wanted to talk about. And I'll put it this way. I am very thankful for being able to meet some of you on here, talk with you guys, whether we met at the stadium, we met at the QBC, we've had conversations, on Twitter, X, DM, having conversations, catching up, Instagram, whatever it may be. Very thankful for that. I am. But what we tend to lose focus of is what's real and what's not. And the online world, for as great and as thankful as I am for what this show is becoming, and the community that it's creating and the conversations and people that I've been able to meet, we have to remember that the internet's not real. It's a fake place. And people think that everything said on here is a majority, when in reality, the internet, X, can be an echo chamber, and it's not always what is going to be happening at the stadium. Are there jackasses at the stadium? Sure there are. Just like there are on Twitter. Now, I think that we get so bogged down on what we're constantly seeing because we're constantly online. So we think that this is the norm when it's really not. So I agree with that, GSD. Like the people that, we're listening to that get hyped up the most are the ones that are given this microphone to pump out negativity because it gets more attention. That's all it is. And I think that just feeds the fact of what I've also been saying for the longest time is that Mets fans are the best fans. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Mets fan. I'm saying that because when I look at how people react and what they say and the engagement that said things get when they attack the Mets, it shows you how much people care about this team. That's the truth. That's 1000% the truth. The care that the fans have for this team to react the way that they do when things are said, be it positive or negative. It's the truth. So a great point by you. And I agree with you, GSD. I really do. Which is why I've stopped, talking as much as I normally do on Twitter because, there's just some people I don't want to speak to. No point. Shout out again to the 212 that are with me right now. Finishing scrolling through the chat. Carlos saying that's a great point. It's like you're at a new job. You're always kind of quiet at the start until you feel comfortable and at ease, or in my case, until I'm beating everyone at the sales numbers. Hey, whatever helps, man. Whatever works, But it's the truth. It takes a minute to get comfortable, to get your bearings. And some people are quicker than others. Not everyone's the same. Everyone has different personalities, and it's okay. Christine G saying that I read a business article years ago that stated it takes about 3 months to get used to a new job. I would agree with that. I would. And I think personality depending, that could go even longer for some. But I would agree with that. 3 months to get comfortable. I would agree for sure. Thank you for interjecting that. That's good stuff. That is good stuff. Yes, yes, Rosie. Stating the obvious here, but I love it and I will post it regardless. McPherson is a clown. It's the last time I'm saying his name. What else do we got? Darren Rivera coming again with another $5 super chat. Thank you, Darren. $4.99. What do you think about? I had a feeling this name was going to get brought up, and I didn't do my homework on how to say it. So if someone could enunciate it for me, that'd be great. What do I think about the signing of Colin? Is it Pouchy? I'm not sure how to say that name. I apologize for not doing my homework on that, but I had a feeling somebody was going to ask us. So shout out to you, Darren, for bringing it up. The lefty the Mets just picked up, and by what time should really be ready? I think we can see Raley post All-Star break. I do. I think that the way he's been ramping up, I think we can end up seeing Brooks Raley post All-Star. Now, how he's going to be able to be deployed post All-Star break, post surgery, like that's the question mark. What do I have high expectations for Colin here? I don't know if I do. I'm not going to get too excited about it because it is what it is in terms of a signing. But I hope he can provide something. I hope that the lab continues to spit out these machines, if you will. So hopefully they can do well here, but I don't have enough info in front of me about Colin to have an idea if he could be overly successful here. But I hope he is, based off of the recent success of this pitching lab. Scrolling through. I'll save that one for later, Armand. Thank you. I appreciate that one as well. The pitching matchups for this weekend. Big series with the Cubs coming up. I agree, Armand. Post All-Star break for Raley. I agree with that. Let's see. Jeff Cohen, I always appreciate the humor, my brother. TM Dup equals good. How's that for a review? Hey, if you want to put that in on whatever you listen to on Apple or Spotify, I don't think Spotify offers those things, but the 5 stars on Spotify, I'll take it. If you want to give me a review on Apple that just says TM Dup equal good, I will take that gladly. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. Looking through. Almost caught up with this chat. Almost caught up. looks French. I mean, it does. It does look French. I don't know how to say the name. I feel bad that I don't know how to say it. Armand saying that the Mets need to add David Robertson and one of Drew Smiley, Joe Kelly, or Will Smith to pair with, again, the French guy, Poche, but Poach. I don't know how to say it. But last thing before we get out, you guys have been awesome. Thank you so much for making me laugh, because it's always interesting to do a show solo. It's a lot of jumping around. It's a lot of navigating a lot of different things. But there is one final thing, and that is Starling Marte, Jeff McNeil. I can't anymore, man. I can't. I'm to the point where I can't. I don't like looking at the lineup and seeing Starling Marte batting fourth. For what this team is worth, for where this team is, it can do so much better. Now, look, that still comes back to Vientos needing to perform. If Vientos was performing, if Niman was being more consistent, then you would have Marte further down the line, and maybe not as much of a spotlight is put on him, because one's on him now, when I guarantee you that this front office and this coaching staff didn't think it would be, because they figured everyone else would be doing their job. And when people aren't doing their job, the spotlight gets bigger on everyone, and they focus on everyone. And now losing Winker for 2 months does no justice to this DH position, which is why I said before, you might see Beatty more playing third base and Vientos DHing. Either way, I guys, I know that I started off before. I think Armand said it. I want to find the comment. Here it is. Does Marte get canoed, a.k.a. DFA'd? John and I spoke about that. We spoke about that a while ago. Might have been the second to or I should say the show prior to our preview episode. It might have been back then. We talked about the idea of Marte getting DFA'd, and we said that it was definitely possible. And we were at a point where we thought that was when we thought that Marte would start the season on the IL. And I didn't think that he was going to provide anything. And I was worried. And I said that I think that we do have an owner that would be willing to eat money in this case. But I also think that they're probably saying we have to have some stability somewhere. We don't want to come across like we're allowing the smallest of things to create this like idea of what we should do. But at the same time, I would say that this guy's not giving you much to anything. And we cannot allow small instances to bring forth this idea of this guy is good. We got to keep throwing him out there. It's like he gets a game-winning hit. Yeah, here's 25 more at-bats. Let's be careful with that. Pick your spots. But this team right now is in a spot where they can't pick their spots. They can pick their spots with Jeff McNeil. They're choosing not to, which I don't like. Okay. I don't think he's going to miss much time by pulling up at third base the other day after that triple. I don't think he's going to miss much time. But I said this 2 weeks ago when Jeff was coming back. I said that I didn't want him to take Luisangel Acuña's job. I didn't think he deserved to. I thought Acuña was doing so well. And right now, when you look at the numbers, correct me if I'm wrong, Armand, and I'm sure you will, Luisangel Acuña's weighted runs created plus right now is like $1.15. I want to say $1.12, $1.15, whereas Jeff McNeil's is 78. And someone can say, well, Jeff has only been here for so long. And I could say, yeah, well, I can also tell you that Luisangel Acuña has done a hell of a job with the time he's been given, has earned the spot, is creating havoc on the bases, stealing bases, scoring runs, doing things that allow this team to, create offense towards the bottom half, where it's been a nightmare so far to create offense in the bottom half. Yet I'm going to placate to Jeff McNeil. Why? Why am I going to do that? I don't get it. I know a lot of people bag on Jeff, and look, I don't need to sit here for an hour and talk about it, but I just I've been saying this for the longest time. I know a lot of Mets fans defend him, and they have their reasons because they think he's a fiery baseball player and it reminds them of baseball of a yesteryear. But Mets fans, it's okay to dream bigger. It's okay to want more. It's crazy. Like, you want so much out of Juan Soto, but you're given nothing with Jeff and you defend him. I don't get it. I'm a little bit lost there. People defend Marte too. I think Marte could be a difficult situation because of his standing within the clubhouse and how he fits in with everybody. Like, I think that could be an issue as to why you don't see him go anywhere and he's not DFA'd. Or as Armand put it, he's not canoed. Unless it gets even worse, which is possible. I won't rule it out, but I think that's where the difficult nature of getting rid of someone like that would lie, is because of what would it do to the clubhouse. I don't think that's the case with Jeff. I don't. But either way, it's time to start thinking about ideas and trying new things out, because I have a lot of questions, or I should say there's a lot of question marks moving forward when it comes to Jeff McNeil and Starling Marte. I think it's a fair thing to say. I do. I think it's a fair thing to say. I want to get through these comments before we get out of here. So I want to make sure I allow everyone's voice to be heard. Shout out to the 230 of you that are with me right now. I appreciate all of you. I really do. Love doing these shows, even the solo ones. Love having a part of my week that's dedicated to talking with Mets fans and just having a good time. Talking about the team that we love, love, love so much that we bleed that blue and orange for. Let's see. Black Banner coming in saying, I love Marte. I got his jersey, but homeboy's got to go. I've seen that a lot lately where people were like, look, I loved Marte, but it's over, man. I've seen it where it's like, I love McNeil, but it's over, man. It's like, and it's okay. It's okay. They served their time here. They provided when they did. It's time to move on. I think the conversation we tried to have a couple weeks ago about, can this team acquire a bat at the deadline? I think it's getting louder and louder. I know I'm coming up on a comment that's probably going to mention Drew Gilbert. He's been doing better at AAA. Shout out to Drew Gilbert, because I think he realizes that there is opportunity and it's right there for him to be playing some center field for this team. I do think we could see him at some point. If he keeps on hitting, and shows that he can play center field, I think you're going to see him sooner than later. But also shout out to Tyrone Taylor, who's been on fire lately. On fire. It's been awesome to see Roan doing what he's doing defensively and offensively. Shout out to that tandem cut off and throw to the plate between Tyrone, Lindor, and Torrens the other day. That was awesome. Anyone that loves baseball and doing the fundies properly, and we all know Keith loves those fundies, that was an awesome play. As was Alvarez gutting down the runner at second with that crazy pop time and the tag by Lindor to secure that victory as Diaz closed it out. Love stuff like that. Continuing through the comments before we get out of here. Looking what we got. Anything? Yes, McNeil can play the outfield, but again, shout out to Carson over at Mets Weekly, who brought up this point months ago, which is true. Remember why Jeff McNeil is playing the outfield? Jeff McNeil was playing the outfield because at the time, the Wilpons didn't want to spend any money, so they just put him in the outfield. And look, they didn't want to get like an actual utility player. They just said, we'll make this guy a utility player. And look, Jeff has been fine. Do I want to see Jeff McNeil playing center field for my New York Mets? No, I don't. I made the funny reel about it, the Always Sunny reel about it, because I was caught saying what I said and then it happened. which is funny regardless. I can laugh at myself, but it's not something that we should be seeing more often. There's enough outfielders on this team where that shouldn't be the case, and he's not playing better than Acuna. So it's like this guy should be a bench bat. He should be a bench player. Scrolling through. Peter coming in here saying, I would like to see Beatty at third, Acuna at second, and Vientos as DH, and McNeil in the outfield when needed. Look, there are times you're probably going to see McNeil in the outfield, even though I don't like it. You probably will see it happen. But I did mention earlier in the show, Peter, what you just said. I do think you are going to see more lineups with better defense, with Beatty at third, Lindor at short, Acuna at second, Pete at first, and obviously the tandem at catcher going when they go. Because like I said, if Mark's not going to hit, they're going to opt for the defense and put him at DH. Simple as that. Carlos here saying, yeah, but playing McNeil over Acuna it is irresponsible. I agree with that. This is why I'm struggling with Mendy right now. I'm getting lots of Buck vibes from him. Acuna scores every time he's on base. I don't know if this is like the classic the classic Met manager thing where it's like, we got to get so-and-so going. We got to get so-and-so going. We got to get so-and-so going. Man, Luisangel Acuna is running and gunning and doing his thing. Like, that guy's going. Keep him in the lineup. I want that. I want that energy. I want that speed. This team needs speed. And he provides it. Guy should be playing every day. Now, I don't think it's because they think he's going to get overexposed if he plays every single day, and then it's going to, take away the fact that he's not barreling balls the way he should be, and he's relying so much on his legs that if he's not hitting the ball and finding the gap or anything, that he's not going to provide anything. I don't know if that's the case, but, he should be playing every day. I agree. It's irresponsible to not be playing him every day. I agree with that. Scrolling through. Per Fangraphs, Acuna's weighted runs created plus is 109. I was close. Price is right rules. I lose, but I was close. Carson coming in, my brother from Mets Weekly, who I love going back and forth with, joking with. Acuna doesn't need to set the world on fire to contribute, given his tools. McNeil needs to hit to contribute, which he hasn't done since 2023. One tool that's decking for $15 million is not a good thing. Guy's got to hit 320 to be relevant. Hasn't been that in a long time. Has not. That's 79 weighted runs created plus. Not helping right now either. I know he just got back, but still. Scrolling through. I want to get Carson's ideas in here too, or thoughts. Marte is a fantastic dude. I'm sure everyone loves him. Business isn't personal. It's best for the team to cut the losses at some point. Marte at DH batting cleanup is a joke. Nothing short of it. Talked about it, brother, and I agree wholeheartedly. I can't see Starling Marte batting cleanup. Can't. Like, it's 2025. Broken heart, peace sign right there. I can't do it. Can't do it anymore. Jeff McNeil's like ordering a New York strip medium and getting it well done. That's right. It's so tough. That's what it is. Because Jeff's a real tough, fiery guy, like chewing a tire. Oh my God. Almost caught up. And we are. Look, guys, I'm here for about an hour and 24 minutes. This has been a lot of fun. I've had a great time. I appreciate every single one of you. Shout out to the 232 plus that are with me right now across YouTube and X. If you haven't already, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. I see that 28 are here right now on the YouTube side and only 25 likes. So if you haven't already, make sure you like the video. It helps with the algorithm. It helps with the growth of the channel. I appreciate you so much. Shout out to my co-host, John Saponaro, who's not with us this week. He is going through another move, so hopefully all things are going well for him. I'm sure he'll listen back to this, but always got to give him love. Does a fantastic job with co-hosting this show with me. Does a great job as the lead when it comes to hosting the show. Always allows me to thrive in the best of conditions, to do what I'm very good at when it comes to doing a show like this. So hopefully I make him proud when it comes to this show when I do it solo. And hopefully you guys have enjoyed watching me and interacting with me, talking Mets on this Thursday, May the 8th, as a solo show, episode 194, closing in on 200 episodes of Til Mets Do Us Part. You know, by episode 200, I would love to do that giveaway. Maybe that's the idea here. Maybe episode 200 is when I will do this giveaway for an awesome, awesome, awesome piece of signed memorabilia. Hopefully we hit some more mile markers when it comes to the channel. We've hit some, I think we had the most watch time that we've had in a given month. We've had a lot more interaction when it comes to our shorts. We're growing consistently on TikTok. I'm working very hard on the TikTok side to keep that growing. We're closing in on 800 followers over there. So if you haven't already and you watch TikTok or you interact on TikTok, make sure you're following us at Til Mets Do Us Part. It would be greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. I post cut-ups of the previous week's show and all that applies that still stays topical throughout the week to make sure that more and more people get an idea of what we're doing over here at TMDUP. I'm Matt Ibanez, aka Ibby. I appreciate each and every single one of you, the 230 of you that have joined me today. It was a hell of a show. I had a lot of fun. I hope that you guys have a fantastic week. We have the Cubs coming up. If I didn't get to your comments, by the way, I apologize. Like I said, getting through everything is very difficult on the solo, but we have the Cubs coming up this weekend. I know Jameson Taillon is pitching. I know that Cade Horton, top pitching prospect, is being called up. He's getting that start on Saturday. It's a big series. The Cubs have been playing very well. And future Met, just kidding, future Met Kyle Tucker is going to be facing off with our New York Metropolitans. I'm just joking. Everyone just knows how much I love Tucker. But all in all, thank you so much for joining me. It's been a blast. I've been having a lot of fun with it. I hope you have a fantastic week. Myself and John will see you back on Wednesday, assuming all things are proper, back on Wednesday at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. Make sure, if you haven't already, like the video, sub the channel. Giveaways are coming. Follow us on all the socials. Follow the Facebook group. Follow us on TikTok. Follow, like all the things when it comes to YouTube Reels, YouTube Shorts, I should say. Follow us on Instagram. All that stuff. I'm Matt Ibanez. I am out. Let's go Mets.